Creative Katie, Karen Burchell here, and today we are going to do some gel printing using things you can find around the house, things that are in your blue bin and that are going to make some really interesting textures and patterns on your gel prints and give you great gel prints that you can use as backgrounds for ATCs, iCads, journal pages, or to use in collage work. So without any more hesitation, I am going to get started. Now what I have here, I just went and did a few prints, mostly just one or two colors, maybe a little bit of design, just to get that down, because these I'm going to add to as we do other things. So I just wanted to have a variety of colors in there. So these are very boring, and it's a good way of just starting your gel printing session. So let's just do one of those together so you absolutely get what I'm doing. So whether you're using craft paint, dollar store, whether you're using more full-bodied paint or Americana, it's all going to work just a little bit different. And you're going to put less or more depending. These are more liquidy and they dry a little bit differently than these. So you just have to play around and get what you like. So I just dab it, and instead of using the flip top, I tend to take the knob off. I find I just get a little bit better overall look. So I'm just going to just do one color here, and I'm just going to spread the paint. Sometimes the full body, it stays in the little dabs that you do. And again, if you put lines, you're going to get a different kind of mark. So this one's very simple. There was something on there before, so that's probably going to show up in the print. And I'm just recycling paper that had one side was printed. Now I could do it on that side if I wanted to, and then you have print. Totally up to you. And just pressing it on. And we just have pretty much a basic solid color. There's a little bit of a swirl pattern there. I don't know if you can see it from what was on there, but that's kind of just the base of what we're going to build on. So what we're going to do in this video, and there may be several in this series because I don't want to do too much. I just went through things in my stash, and one of the things that I have is some shelf liner. And shelf liner can come in all sorts of shapes and patterns, and they're all really great. So let's just work with shelf liner for now. I'm going to put a color on, and I'm going to maybe put this blue. And I'm braring off onto either a magazine. This is Reader's Digest. And these become papers that I also rip out and put into my colored paper file folders. So I just grabbed this one. Now I've cut it to the size of my gel print. I will show you some other ways that you can use this in shapes, but I'm just going to put it on here and press this. Now I've grabbed this one that we just made, and I'm going to pull this off to the side, and you're going to have to work pretty quickly. Now I'm pulling this off, and I'm just going to lay it on here, and press. Because what you're going to get is a little bit of pattern on top of that gel print. So whenever you have, whatever your gel prints so state they are, these were just base level ones that I just deliberately did, but you can always add a little interest when you've pressed into the paint, and then you can add it to this. And I find that these are the papers when I'm collaging and using backgrounds, these are the ones I go for because they're just so interesting. So we're going to do this, and let's just see what that print looks like. Now again, with the gel print, whatever was under there, unless you wash it. So there you have that pattern. So you taking the paint off and then just stamping onto a gel print, and then you have that. So you have two very different looks, but they're great texture. Would I say this was done? Depends. You may think this is done, it's up to you. But I'm just gonna add it to the pile. So let's try this one. Now I would not have thought that that one worked very well, but now I have discovered recently that I'm very short of greens and oranges and yellows in my gel print, and browns. So here I'm mixing two colors. And I've got an excessive amount of paint. So you kind of play it by ear. Now because this is a little bit wetter, and when I'm stamping into this, and my plan is to stamp this off onto a blank page or on top of a gel print that already exists, I may want to get it a little bit wetter like that is. So I'm just going to grab this blue one, and I'm just going to press this onto here. And gel print takes a lot of room, and my workspace with the camera certainly it doesn't give me enough room. So I'm pulling that off. There's that, and I'm just going to press this down. Now, isn't that amazing? I love, love, love that. Now, if you had done that with gold, that would be nice gold painting on there. But again, you know, I'm kind of matching the colors. I want some of that contrast. So, and the nice thing about the shelf liner, it's so cheap. Use it till it gets clogged up. Doesn't work anymore, throw it out, get some new one. Or with the shelf liner, get together with a friend that also does gel printing. Each of you buys a couple, swap it up. I've given lots of gel prints to various friends. So now we're just going to take this one. And again, you know, wouldn't this be great if you were collaging a turtle shell or for grasses? I'm going to put a link to some of the collage pictures that I use, and picture, I will include a picture of a collage one. So these all are very interesting. So instead of a flat green, this is going to be quite lovely. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes these ones where I print off on are my faves. So I've got a lot of this going on, and what I'm going to do is just get some black. Now, if you want to clean this up, you can go white or you can go black. And I also have where people use unbleached titanium. Now that is going to hopefully lift this. I don't ever have enough black in there. So what? I want to add some black dots to this one. So you can see how you're constantly bringing back some of your gel prints and adding more to it. And I'm just pressing that in. Take off. And press it in. And if you want, you can just gel print on the brayer over top of this as well. Up to you. So now you have multiple layers and lovely interest in there. I got it so much darker on this than on this because I use the brayer to press. So there's, again, a difference, amount of pressure that you use. Now with gel printing, it's always a surprise. There's never any guarantees. Even if you do something exactly the same, it is going to turn out different. Now, this one is going to be a lovely dark black and green, and I did that deliberately because for my collaging, when I want rooftops of houses or beaks or branches, I kind of want more in the black tone, and I like having the black with the green, or green, blue in the green, something else rather than a flat color. So we have one more, and there's a pattern on there because it was gone through a stencil. One more shelf liner, and this one's very, it's not as substantial. I'm just looking at the background. Okay, so we have this green blue, and it's very matte and uninteresting at this stage. So I am going to maybe use some yellow. I don't believe this one's going to leave such a mark. But let's see. The only way you're going to know if it works or if it doesn't is if you play. And then you can remember . There you go. So that gives a very different look, but again, you've added the yellow to the blue, and I love that. Now, if you print this off, so there, it pulled up some of the grungy bits of the black, but it's a nice base one for something next. Okay, so we're just going to do a few more prints, just using those same shelf liners. So there's yellow on here, so I'm going to put red. I also find when I started gelling printing, I found, you know, too much because you had stencils and you had other things and lots of colors. So I limited the colors and I limited whatever I was mark making with. And I found that that just worked a little bit better. It helped simplify things and just improved everything. So on this one, I'm going to totally love this one. So we're going to make another one of these. So move that out of the way. Pull that. And look at that. Yum. And so now we're just going to take this. So when you are doing a print, you're getting lots of bang for your buck. So whether you make some backgrounds to begin with, or you just kind of do your normal gel print and then add layers, there we have that. I'm going to add some gold to this one. I could mix another color in there again. You can play with it. So I think what I want, I like having gold on my gel prints, that little bit of shimmer. I want a bit of more effect, so I'm going to try this one and see if that worked, or if it had more to do with the sheer amount of paint that I had on there. No, that's very, very subtle, but it's there. And when you use this as a background or for collaging, it's going to add a lot of interest to your pages. So here I have just a plain green one. This is on deli paper. I'm just going to put it on top. So we're going to have that green underneath with a little bit more gold. Oh, yum. So that's going to be some very nice collage papers. You don't just have to put the whole thing on. You can make your own stamps with some of the shelf liner, which you can use just right on your journal pages. So here's one shelf liner, a different one, and I have just different pieces. I put them on just some cardboard to make it a little bit easier, but you can see I've got different sizes. Now, what that allows us to do a little bit more easily are things like this. Now, what color? Okay, so you know what? I think I'm going to use black just so we get the contrast and you can see what I'm doing here. So what you can do is with, let's use this one, you can stamp onto, now every time I stamp on here, I'm also going to stamp, and I might just make a bit of a pattern here. You can see I'm just adding some interest on that one, on this purple paper that I just created earlier. And we'll show in some of the upcoming videos how we got the markings on that one. I was just playing around. And then I'm just going to do this. Now, I've never done exactly this, so we'll see what happens. In a minute. Now, don't know what's going to happen here. I guess we're going to find out. I was debating whether I was going to put it on this or just on this, but I'm thinking it was going to block too much of this out. Can you see how lovely that is? You picked up that gold that was underlined. So this is going to be beautiful. I want to add something more to this. So, I'm not sure if I want to go dark or light. Indecision, indecision. This piece, which we were, so it's a small piece, and I don't know why I don't have a bigger one, so I'm going to play that off on here. I'm just going to line it up. So if you only have a small piece, you still can do it. It takes a little bit of time on your part, but you want to get that excess paint off. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bit of a different effect. Now this paper that I have print on and text and whatever is newsprint. It's like phone books, recreation guides often have it, the Reader's Digest. It's a great weight of paper for when you're collaging and for gluing on. It's not as heavy as some. have that pattern on there. So now I've got all these greebly bits. Now I can spray water on here and you do it that way, but I'm just going to put a light color. And again, you need a little bit of knowledge. You know, I want, this turns kind of a greenish color. I'll be perfectly happy, and green and blue are going to make, or blue and yellow are going to, you know, make. So here's what we didn't do. I'm just going to take the deli paper here. Because this is so foamy, it's thicker, it's a little harder to remove through the paper. But it's not impossible, right? So we can do that. I'm just going to get rid of that. Liking how that's turning out. But I'm not gonna lie, it is a whole lot easier if you do it with a whole sheet. I need to find this gel print, this so there you have it. Now that would have been, you know, that's the beginnings of something nice. I'm thinking that might, going to take it off or not. So no matter how much you gel print, it's, for me, it's just a lot of guesswork and, you know, a lot of ooh, moments. So it's kind of a cleaned up print, and you don't get there's not a whole lot of paint on there, but I love, love, love that patterning. So that's something I definitely would want to play with again. And I'm just going to add that on top of this, and we'll see what we get. loving that pattern. So I just put some purple metallic. I have this very drab print, and I just thought we would do something on here. I'm just going to try. I don't know if there's going to be enough of that coming off, but you know what? Lovely. And since this is one of those, you know, ick made mud, so now we have a little less mud. So, gel printing with shelf liners. Here's this one. That one. So you can cut that different sizes. This square one, you get the off stamping and then the pull print, so you get different effects on there. This one, okay, so shelf liner can make some amazing effects with different sizes and shapes. Comes in such a variety. You can get it cheaply at the dollar store. So there's that one, which I definitely need to find a bigger piece. This one, which is very fine, but produces a nice, it's an interesting texture to your prints, which, you know, something this fine works really well when you're collaging. And this one, which when you press in and stamp off on it, you get these very, very fine dots, depending on how much paint you have on there. Here I have more paint, or the second pool. And the last one, this interesting print. Again, you can stamp off of it, use it as a stamp, or pull that second print on it. And this, I think, was my favorite. I like the colors, I like the pattern, I just like everything about this one.